Hello and welcome to Realign Your Thoughts Confidence Implementation Workshop. I am Shaquin Shea Paris, encouragement coach and founder of Love and Fine Works, an organization dedicated to creating a safe space for women to be vulnerable without fear or judgment. So I provide a safe space for strong women to be soft and women who struggle with fear to be fearless. So I do want to respect your time and I want to respect my time. So we'll go ahead and hop right into the workshop. If you don't already have your pen and paper ready, go ahead and get you some because we are going to be doing some work during this workshop. So on today's agenda, we will be focused on navigating change, managing expectations, embracing the past, and creating your future. So change, why is it so challenging? Well, here is a fun fact, or maybe not so fun fact. Over 80% of New Year's resolutions are abandoned within a week. Now, I always thought this was at least 30 days, so at least a month. But it appears that is not the case. So if you're somebody like me who thought that maybe it was a little bit longer, why don't you go ahead and put yes in the chat? I'd just like to see how many people, kind of thought the same way that I was thinking. Yeah, most of us think that it, took a little bit longer than a week, but to our surprise, I guess it is not. So why is change so challenging? Well, if it was easy, we'd all be wealthy, fit, and happy, right? And I know it's frustrating when you know what you want, but you can't get yourself to do it consistently. And you think, okay, if this new thing is obviously a benefit to me, why is it so hard to make the change? And one of those reasons is because habits are strong and they are pervasive. So the average person has more habits than they even realize. Each morning you wake up and you follow the same routine. You take the same path to work. You drive your kids to school the same route. You think the same thoughts as you did the day before. For instance, with me, I wake up thinking I could have used a little bit more sleep last night. And then at night, I'm thinking I should really go to sleep earlier tonight, but I don't. And most of our day and night is a repeat of the last 500. And even when you feel bored, you soothe and comfort yourself in the same 2 to 3 ways. And for most people, that's TV and that's food. And you even typically eat the same food and talk to the same people. So when we really think about it, we don't have much change in our life. And I know you've probably heard this before, but once things become a habit, there's no thinking at all. Things are done automatically. And believe it or not, this is actually what our brain prefers. The fewer the decisions, the better. Now, if you don't already have your pen and paper, go ahead and grab it. I just want you to make a quick note here. So the takeaway here is to change, you must be certain that change is in your best interest. Otherwise, you revert to your old ways. So another way of saying that really is that you have to be the change. But of course, that's not easy. And that's because change is uncomfortable. Now, you already know how to lose 25 pounds or how to find a better job, but it's the thought of taking those necessary actions to accomplish those goals that create discomfort. And it's that discomfort that outweighs the feeling of looking good in that new dress. And fitting into that new dress is not as important as feeling comfortable right now. And here's the thing, our brain is actually preoccupied with survival. So it's telling us what you're doing is working, kind of. You might be unhappy today, but you're still alive. And the reality of it is that most of us prefer misery rather than uncertainty. And then when you do try to make those changes and you fail, those negative thoughts start to creep in, the limiting beliefs from your past. And then you begin to say things like, obviously, I can't change. What's the use in trying? And then that's where setting expectation come in. And one of the main issues, one of the primary issues in keeping you from following through on your plan to change is attempting to change too much too soon. You can't go from 40 years of negative talk to only positive talk in 2 days. That's just not a reality. You really need to start small. So, smaller changes are easier to accomplish and to maintain. So, if you go ahead and look at that box that says, how are you feeling? I just want to kind of gauge, how you all are feeling about change. So, you see the typical smiley face, and then you see the smiley face with the eyes, and then the groaning and the moaning smiley face. So if you're somebody that likes change, it's okay, go ahead and then put regular smiley face in the chat. If you're somebody that loves change, go ahead and put love in the chat box. And if you're somebody that hates change, go ahead and put hate in the chat box. Let's just kind of get a survey of where we all are right now. And it's common. It's not out of the norm that um, you're somebody that very much dislikes change because it's hard. So yeah, so that's typical. So now that you know why it's hard to change, let's focus on how you can actually make that change happen. And we already talked about, of course, how hard it is. And when something is hard, you need an effective strategy or an effective approach for overcoming those challenges. And so that's what we have here. We have a 5-step change approach. So our first step is to be prepared to change. Expect the change will be challenging and know that your odds of success improve if you're prepared, if you have a plan, which is the exact reason why I decided to put on this workshop. And a second approach is to start small. So I mentioned a little bit earlier, but to minimize the discomfort that change creates, you want to gradually put into practice the things that you're learning. So 1 to 3 affirmations each day is much easier than starting with 10 to 15 affirmations each day. The key is to get into the habit of doing and personifying the new behavior each day. So, if one of the daily affirmations you wrote during the Confidence Summit was that you wanted to be more powerful, then every day do at least one thing that makes you feel powerful. And that doesn't have to be anything big, it can be something as simple as just wearing some red lipstick if that's what makes you powerful. And the third thing is to have patience. So show yourself some self compassion and be patient with yourself because it can take months to make a change permanent. And also note that you're creating a transformation. And so that takes time. It usually takes at least about 90 days to create a transformation. And I know you've probably heard this as well, that it normally takes about 30 days um, to instill a new habit. But in actuality, what that is that your mind and your body has begun to accept the change as norm, as the new norm. So there's less resistance. And so it doesn't seem as hard, but it typically takes about 90 days to really put into practice that new habit. And then step 4. So this is where it gets real. You need to expect discomfort and know that things will be different and that your life will change in some way. So once you start exuding the confidence that you desire in different areas, people will begin to notice that change, and some will be happy with it and some may not. So it could be a bit scary, it could be uncomfortable, But discomfort isn't always a bad thing. And don't sit in that discomfort. Know that you are peeling back that shell and you're becoming the confident woman that you were meant to be, and that there is nothing wrong with that. And lastly, don't expect perfection. So, perfection is an illusion that will only serve to destroy your confidence. So, it's something that you definitely don't want to hold yourself up to, not a standard you want to hold yourself up to. So, if you're trying to change something you may have been doing for years, so know that you will probably revert back to doing the things that you used to do at some point, and hold yourself high. Know that that's okay. Show yourself some compassion. So here's what I want to do now. So right under the how you change, there's the box. What's the most challenging thing you've done in life? So I just want to take about a minute or two here for you to think about that. And my purpose for doing that is because I want to empower you and give you a tool that you can utilize when you come to moments where it's a bit challenging, and you may get overwhelmed a little bit. Reflect back on this moment, reflect back on that challenge that you overcame, and think, okay, in that moment I wasn't sure how I would overcome that challenge, but I did. So know that yes, whatever this challenge is, I can overcome that as well. So here, let's take maybe about 1 to 2 minutes to go ahead and think back on something that was extremely challenging for you and that you were able to overcome. And I mean, it doesn't have to be anything that happened recently, doesn't have to be something way back from your past. It just has to be something that is significant to you and that brought you confidence when you did overcome, and you felt good. You felt like, yeah, I did that, or I can't believe I did that. So that's what you want. So yeah, just go ahead and take a minute to continue to reflect on that. And if you are just joining, we're just having a little brainstorming moment, reflecting back on our most challenging time and how we overcame that. And so, why don't you all begin to wrap up? So, I'll give you about 10 more seconds and then we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide. So, now that you are more knowledgeable on how to create change, let's talk about managing your expectations. So, expectation is a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. And so here's what I want to do. So we're going to start with a couple of affirming statements. And I like to do this because expectations can often be seen in a negative light. And so I want to go ahead and reframe that. And so here's what I want us to start with. Excuse me. I have an attitude of forgiveness towards myself. I treat myself with the same compassion that I treat others. I give myself room to be creative and spontaneous. If I find that I'm striving for something simply because of societal norms, I immediately wipe it from my list of expectations. So make sure you're following your vision. You're becoming the you that you want to be. You're not doing this for anybody else. You're doing this for yourself. A second one, I strive to set fair expectations for myself. If I am working my hardest and still feel far off from my goals, I do not worry. I simply revise my plan. So things change, plans change. It's okay to readjust. Nobody is saying you have to cancel your plans. I'm not saying that because I strongly believe if you have a plan, stick to it. But I do believe that sometimes you need to make adjustments to your plan. That is a okay. And I make changes when I feel I am stuck in a rut. I make changes when I need to spice up my life. As I learn and grow, there are new things that I want to pursue. My expectations reflect who I want to be. So, our expectations are simply milestones that help us get closer to our vision. And that's why it's important to have your own vision. And because nothing is set in stone, I reflect often and evaluate the path of my life. I have the power to change the direction of my steps at any moment. So, again, just reiterating that it's okay to make changes to your plans because you're the CEO of your life. You have authority over your life. You have the right to make a change if need be. And as I mature, I allow myself to make changes to my goals. When I erase something from my plans, I leave it behind. I refrain from second guessing. So don't let self doubt get the best of you. If you need to make an adjustment and move on. I'm like, oh my gosh, should I have done that? Should I have not done that? Once you make a decision, move forward from that decision. There's always opportunity to readjust if need be. There are things beyond my control that influence my ability to meet the expectations I have set for myself. When this happens, I am accommodating. As long as I arrive at my desired destination under good means, I do not obsess about how I got there. So, when you're going to achieve your goal, the point isn't to measure exactly what it is that got you there. The end goal is to achieve your vision, however you got there, as long as you feel good about how you did that. That's what matters in the end. Excuse me. And expectations are not rigid laws that I must live by. Expectations are in my life as checkpoints to guide me in my journey. So, again, expectations are a milestone. They help you measure where you are, how close you're getting towards your vision. So, don't let it hold you back and don't be discouraged by that. So, now I want to take a moment to self reflect. So, what do I want is a question that you get to ask yourself. And so that really means deciding what you want for yourself and what values does that align with. And for those of you who attended the summit, in my interview, you heard me mention that we put effort towards the things that we think are worth the effort. And so um, make sure that it aligns with your values because if it aligns with your values, then more than likely it is worth it. So just take some time to really think about that. And if you don't know what your values are, then maybe that's something that you want to spend some time reflecting upon as well. And when do I want to be in completion? And so um, that's when you really get to decide, okay, how do I get there? What are the mechanics for completing my goal? Do I need to work with different people to achieve my goals? So maybe you want to lose weight. So um, am I better at, taking a group class? Am I better with a personal trainer? So things like that, figuring out how you want to complete your goal and how fast you want to complete your goal. Because, you may decide, okay, I could do this on my own, but it would take me 6 months. But if I decided to get a personal trainer, it may take me half that time. It may take me 3 months. And so just take some time as well to really consider those things. And the third thing is to ask yourself, have I set fair expectations for myself? So have you taken into account um, your limitations? And so, we really need to be realistic with ourselves. So, again, going back to weight loss, if you're somebody that's trying to lose weight, depending on your size or your health, you may not be able to do certain exercises, you may not be able to stand for certain lengths of time. So, have you taken those things into consideration that, okay, that may slow down how fast I can lose weight because I am limited in that area. So let me set a fair, realistic goal for myself. Maybe you're somebody who is $20,000 in debt and you only make $20,000 a year. So I think it's realistic to say that you won't be debt free in 1 year unless you find another way to bring in some additional income. So think about those things as well. And then are there goals that need revising? So this is something that you want to ask yourself from time to time, just to make sure that you're on track, to make sure you're making progress towards your vision and whether or not you do need to make some readjustments. And then lastly, when was the last time I evaluated the direction of myself? So when you start to feel stuck, or maybe you feel like you're making limited progress, that's a good question um, to ask yourself because you want to make sure that you haven't ventured off towards away from your vision. And so that's just something, some questions that you can really ask yourself and take a moment to really reflect on to make sure that you are headed towards your vision because that is the key, that you're headed toward a vision that you're aligned with, that aligns with your values, that matters to you because you're more likely to accomplish it. Now, as we learned earlier, when we try to make a change and we fail, that self doubt comes in, that criticism starts to creep in. And where does that come from? Well, sometimes it comes from our limited beliefs, which are created from our past experiences. And some of us actually need to ask ourselves, are we living um, in the past? And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with reminiscing, but when you become consumed with the past, um, then that's when it's an issue. You want to embrace the past. You don't want to live in it. And so, maybe you're one of those people who struggle to rise above any life challenges that come your way. Maybe you've gone from having, a lot of money, a big house to living from paycheck to paycheck in a small apartment. That could be the result, of COVID. It affected a lot of people in that way. You may even be somebody who has experienced loss of a relationship that devastated you, but you have been able to bounce back and continue to live a life of your dreams. But if you find yourself feeling stuck looking back wistfully to your earlier years and wishing things could have remained the way that they were, then you're probably living in the past. And so here are some ways to really help you identify if you're living in the past. And so one of those would be, do you think every day, do you think about how life used to be? Are you reflecting daily on the past? Because if you are, then that can get in the way of you moving forward. And secondly, You sleep to dream about your earlier years. So you try to sleep as much as possible so you can dream about your earlier years. And then when you dream, they become fantasies of how your life was before. And you look forward to those dreams. Or maybe you spend a lot of time on the computer. And that's because being on the computer keeps you busy and you don't have to think about how much life has changed. Maybe you're somebody that, likes to escape from reality. Maybe you don't do that by being on the computer, but there are other methods to escape from reality. So, maybe you are bookworm, so you read a lot. Maybe you clean a lot. Some of you may even refer to things like drinking alcohol and doing drugs. So for you, it's about constantly being emotional, doing something where you don't have to face life as it currently is. And then our fifth and final one, excuse me, is being in denial about your current situation. So you may be separated or divorced. You could even be grieving the loss of a loved one, and it's hard for you to accept that you no longer have that partner, or that you no longer live in that home that you thought that you would live in for the rest of your life. Maybe you don't want to rearrange the furniture, maybe you don't want to get rid of some things because they remind you of the person who's no longer in your life. So if you see yourself in one or more of these 5 points, you're living in the past. But here's the good thing, you don't have to stay living in the past. So here are some steps to really get you reconnected with yourself and help you move forward and start living in the here and in the now. So the first step will be to openly acknowledge to yourself what you've been doing. Excuse me. So that can simply mean just saying, I've been living in the past and I want to stop doing that. The second thing would be to shift. So decide what you must do or what you get to do to shift into the present. So, do you need to clean out your closet? Do you need to get rid of some old possessions? Maybe even move your residence. And sometimes moving forward in your life literally means making an actual move. And thirdly, know your goals. So know the life goals that you set for yourself. Make a plan you can follow to actively pursue your goals. And I will give you credit, you're on this workshop now. So that means that you are trying to create some life goals for yourself. So kudos to you for that. The fourth step is self care. So take care of yourself. So you know, make sure you're taking care of your physical self as well as your mental self. So refocus your efforts on the current state of your physical body and your mental body, and be sure to really give yourself some self care and some self love. And five is to feel. So vow to participate, or I'm sorry, vow to practice special efforts with your feelings. So work to gain understanding of your feelings. Allow yourself to grieve who or what you've lost if you need to. And for some of us, that, that's not a actual loss of a person, but it could be the loss of a relationship. You could have lost a marriage, you could have lost a friendship. You could have lost a home. So that can be a number of things. And it's okay. It may seem like only a person, you can only grieve a person who has died. No, there is some loss and there is some emotion behind the loss. So allow yourself to feel those emotions and let those emotions go, because the more you resist, the more those emotions persist. So you're trying not to feel them, but you're resisting. So you're going to constantly feel them. And then six, get help. So sometimes that just means that you need to reach out to other people for support. And so, that could be a friend, That could be a coach as myself. Sometimes you may actually need to reach out to a physical doctor in order to get you the assistance that you need. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with reaching out for help should you need it. And seven is to start down. So don't waste any more time. Be in awe of each day. And you can do something positive with every 24-hour period. So if you ask a 2 year old, you ask a 5 year old, how big of a number is 24? They'll probably say, like, that's big, especially if you ask them how old is somebody who's 24. They really think that's extremely old. But my point in saying that is that, you know, it's about perspective. So depending on how you see time, there's a lot that can be done in a 24-hour period. So there's at least one thing that you can do in a positive manner within 24 hours. So start immediately. Don't wait. Living in the past robs you of your life that you truly deserve. So restate your life goals to yourself and then and then begin living out your dreams in the here and the now. So, what about our future? Well, our future are events that will or are likely to happen in time to come. So I'll just read that again. Events that will or are likely to happen in time to come. So when it comes to our future and our way of being, I want to start off on a positive note. So just like with the expectations, I'm going to start with some affirming statements. So I actively look forward to new adventures, even if they are outside my comfort zone. So here's the thing, nothing that is going to help us grow is inside our comfort zone. We have to reach out. And if you reflect back, maybe especially when you were younger, before you had, a number of life experiences, you had to try new things in order to find out if you liked them or not. And when you did, you found that some of those things you really enjoyed. So keep that childlike mindset. Look for new adventures and opportunities to step outside your comfort zone. There can be joy in that. And I can find new adventures right in my own backyard. Anything different can be an adventure. I can try a new restaurant, take a class to learn a new skill. I can even build a new business. You certainly can. And you can even change the paint on your walls. Colors actually inspire emotion. So that's something simple that you can do to just change the emotion or the energy within your home. Life isn't a spectator sport. I want to be where the action is. After all, I only get one shot at this. So I want to make every moment count. One way I accomplish this is by pursuing new adventures. So again, just be open to new things. Today, I actively seek new adventures, do something I have never done before, and relish every moment of it. And that's the thing. When you do try new things, new adventures, really be in the moment, really be present so you can, really feel those emotions and the joy and the happiness that comes with those new adventures. And I'll say here too, we could replace adventures with new things. But when you think of an adventure, you think of something that's exciting and you expect the unknown. So it makes the unexpected a little easier to cope with. So yeah, be on a new adventure every day. You can never have too many adventures. I know that embracing new adventure also means going outside my comfort zone from time to time, and I look forward to this. I realize that while it may be scary, going outside my comfort zone can also bring great rewards. So, again, we can't grow if we stay within our comfort zone. And then when we do step outside of that, there are great things on the other side. And then our last affirmation, delving into totally unfamiliar territories expands my limits. In the process, I learn new skills, meet new friends, discover new talents, and ignite passion. So, I'm just thinking here, maybe you're somebody who doesn't like to do things alone. Maybe that's one of the affirming statements that you created in the summit as well. I am going to do more things on my own. So maybe you decide to take a sip wine and paint class, and then you discover, that you not only do you really enjoy painting, but you're actually good at it. So I've heard quite a few stories like that, and so you would never know that had you not experienced that, had you not went on that new adventure and then come out with that new experience, that new talent, that new joy and reward. So be open to trying new things. There are so many wonderful opportunities available to us if we just step outside that comfort zone. So here again is another opportunity to do some self-reflection. So ask yourself, how much time do I spend just sitting and watching life pass by, wishing I had more confidence? Now, this is a confidence workshop, but you can always replace that with wishing I was more powerful, wishing I was a uh, better leader. So you can replace that with a number of things, but take a moment to reflect on, how much time, because a lot of times it's been a number of years that people are hoping and wishing for things and they never happen because they never take action. They never are in a state of being to create those things. And a part of that leads right next to question two. Do I seek new adventures, including those outside of my comfort zone? So a lot of people spend time sitting and watching because they don't want to step outside that comfort zone. They don't want to seek those new experiences. So the question to ask yourself, are you open to seeking new adventures? And then what can I try for my next adventure? And it doesn't have to be anything big. So like I mentioned, maybe you're somebody that doesn't like to do things on your own. Go have dinner with yourself. Go watch a movie with yourself. Go on a walk with yourself. So there are adventures just waiting for you if you allow yourself to be open to having those adventures. So here is your roadmap for your confidence journey. So here's the mindset that you get to have when you start your confidence journey. New beginnings excite me. And here are a couple more affirmation statements to help you along that journey. So I love when something new comes into my life. New relationships, experiences, and successes all provide a new lease on life for me. New brings the feeling of excitement to me and gives me more meaning to my exist and gives more meaning to my existence. So a couple typos there. Apologies. The next affirmation. Today, I look forward to having something new come into my life so I can relive that excitement all over again. So, yeah, so be excited. When you are excited, you are open. And when you're open, you receive so many great things. So, stay excited. All right, so here is what we would actually do a little more brainstorming and actually help you to create your actual roadmap. So, this is how we create your vision and your strategy on your confidence journey. So, we don't start out with the first step. We actually start at the end. So we start with your vision. And so again, your vision is about, excuse me, your vision is about what you want for yourself. So we did the exercise a little bit earlier. What do you want? Ask yourself, what do you want? So here's an opportunity for you to really, take some more time to elaborate on that vision and make sure that it is aligned with your values and it's worth your time and it is worth your effort. And the second point, then get in and out of your comfort zone. So here's what I'll ask of you to do here. So take a moment to look at your vision and then say, okay, I want this. What am I already comfortable with doing? So go ahead and jot those down. And then the next thing I want you to do is step back and then think, okay, what are the things that I need to do? Maybe I don't necessarily want to do them, but what do I need to do in order to achieve my vision? Because again, if what we wanted was in our comfort zone, we would already have it. So you have to create a stretch for yourself. And when you stretch into that growth. You reach outside of that comfort zone. So stretch yourself, reach outside of that out of that comfort zone and go for your goal. Step out and grow. And number three, a little misnumbered, but number three, what are your limiting beliefs around stepping outside your comfort zone? And so here's where you just take some time to think, okay, why do I think this? Why do I believe this? So maybe you're thinking, okay, I'm too old to start doing this right now. Or I'm already so heavy, I don't know if I could even do this. Instead, why don't you reframe that way of thinking to, I am never too old to start new adventures. Or I am where I need to be in order to begin this journey. So, changing your thinking, changing your perspective, um, kind of resets things. And so you're able to have more energy towards accomplishing that thing. It's less when you have a negative mindset, it's more defeating. And so don't start off with defeat. Start off with excitement and energy. And then the last thing is to start with the baby steps. So, what is the first step that you can take in order to start on your journey? And so it's just an easy step. So I'll go back to I want to be more powerful statement. So I am a powerful woman. Maybe that's your affirming statement. So maybe putting on that red lipstick makes you feel powerful. Maybe putting on your favorite outfit, or it could be your favorite pair of shoes, something that helps you to embody power. So it's just a simple step, not outside of your comfort zone, something within your comfort zone. And this is an opportunity as well to look at where on step two, when I said to write down things within your comfort zone, you can pick something that you've already listed and start with that step. It's not anything that pushes you beyond what you may be willing to do initially. So now you have the keys to continue moving forward with your confidence journey. You have a plan to guide you on your transformation. So that means all you have to do now is just utilize this tool and put your plan to work. If you know that you're somebody who is ready for change, then you can go ahead and go to bit.ly RYT Confidence and sign up for the coaching opportunity, or you can even scan the QR code. If you are feeling that you're not quite ready, you'd like to talk about it a little more, completely understand, that's okay. You can go ahead and go to bit.ly RYT Confidence call or scan the QR code and set up a call with me personally to talk through, some of your questions and some of the things that may be holding you back from taking this opportunity and stopping you from becoming the authentic you that you're desiring to be. So I am so grateful for the time that I've been able to spend with you and the knowledge that I've been able to share. It's been an experience that I'm blessed to have had, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everybody. If you know that you're somebody who is ready for change, then you can go ahead and go to bit.ly RYT Confidence and sign up for the coaching opportunity, or you can even scan the QR code. If you are feeling that you're not quite ready, you'd like to talk about it a little more, completely understand, that's okay. You can go ahead and go to bit.ly RYT Confidence call or scan the QR code and set up a call with me personally to talk through, some of your questions and some of the things that may be holding you back from taking this opportunity and stopping you from becoming the authentic you that you're desiring to be. So I am so grateful for the time that I've been able to spend with you and the knowledge that I've been able to share. It's been an experience that I'm blessed to have had, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everybody.